Yes, mate. As you can see, I'm just smoking a zoot. And yeah, it's not too cold tonight. Plenty of stars. Just picked up. So first zoot of the day. Bit late, but yeah, better late than never. And yeah, yeah, it's alright. Yeah, it's alright. I'm using fucking blues though, so as I said, I left it late, so I just fucking roll with what I got. It's better than fucking greens. Greens just fucking. I won't even smoke my weed if I've got greens because it's just a waste. I find it burns so quickly. Of course, back in the day, you'd see me stock up on Poundland Zigzag Rizzlers, but I'm wise. I'm wise to those tricks now. I know how to smoke and what to smoke with, whereas before I had no clue. So that's why sometimes you watch the old videos and I'm just smoking with all these fucking weird shit. You're thinking, what? You're a stoner. Why don't you smoke this? Why don't you roll with OCBs or raws or whatever? But that's why, because I didn't fucking know any better. Obviously now I do. So, but yeah, the zoo is all right. I'm just proper worn out, mate. Honestly, I don't know why. I haven't done anything all day. Honestly, I don't know why. Yes, mate. Honestly, just chilling. Oh, mate, maybe that's some more water. It might fucking. Oh, got a bit of a headache as well. I might not be on for long. But yeah, I just wanted to come on and say I'm alive. And yeah, because I've been recording some videos as I go, but I don't think there's going to be a video for a bit of time because, well, yeah, I've just been stressing myself out really. Yeah, I'm alright. I'm alright in the grand scheme of things, I'm alright. But obviously, individual situations that arise in life just. Some seem more heavy than others, but ultimately it's okay. But I hope you're on good vibes. You're staying blessed. Life is treating you well. You push through with the bullshit. And yeah. Yeah, so. It's what it is. It's what it is. I always find I stress myself out a lot more than I need to, and blow things up within my mind rather than just being on a level about it, especially with certain things. Not everything, just certain subjects and topics that just trigger me always, regardless of the be the bigger person aspect of life. I just get bored of being the bigger person. Well, recently it's relationships, mate, and just yeah, and having friends and people around me. Obviously, back in the day. When I say back in the day, I just use that as a term for older videos and life back from when I remember, and then from what I filmed, from what you've watched, from when you remember. I was very isolated, insular, in terms of just going to work, coming home, smoking weed, and that's it. But traveling about, well, I got bored basically of being just at home and just in the shed, and just even though I wanted it so badly and I waited so long for the shed to come, it came. I used it. I had good times in it. Filmed loads of videos in the shed and done lots of things, and it was a great base for me to be able to edit and sleep, relax, smoke. You know what I mean? And listen to music and do my art, and paintings, and but then I just got bored. And I just wanted a bit more from life, so I started the travels. And I had this thing how I'd never fly, I'd never fly, I'd never fly. And I'd flown before many times, but I don't know, I just had it in my mind that it was just dodgy to fly, and government was out to get me and I'd blow up the plane, and I was just thinking all kinds of mad shit, literally. So I just didn't fly, and then I was like, fuck it, and started flying. First trip was to Amsterdam, and yeah, through that I just started, opening myself up and just chatting away, and you know interacting with people. And people are great. Like, I love people. I've always loved people from a very young age. Started out in public services before I got into the security, um, fire service, the ambulance service, and police. Yeah. Not many, I don't know if many people know that. Those of you that pay attention may know that already. But yeah. And then from that, I just thought, nah, but still enjoy people. So I just thought, well, just explore the world and to share my story with others and interact with people through that way. It doesn't have to be in a public services sort of way or security way. Hmm. So from that, I met loads of interesting people and sick people as well, like just from all over the world, just different parts of the countries and Lithuania and Romania and Mexico, Spain, Portugal, France, Germany, everywhere, Belgium, like just so many different mixes of people. And I'd wake up hearing six different languages, and that's just before I've gone out. And you know what I mean? It was just so many different conversations, and do you know what I mean? And I loved that. And then I had the notion just to stay away from England, but yeah, mate, like literally, it was sick, like literally, and it's just it's a case of like meeting all these people was just really good because it restored my faith in humanity. Obviously, doing public services, you don't always meet the obviously the nice end of society, and also you're not always well received with who you are, especially if you're wearing a uniform. Like people are not happy always to see you. Like sometimes you meet people on the worst day of your life, or when you meet them, you're making it the worst day of their life. So it's a case of morally for me and ethically, it just wasn't right. So I completely enjoyed it in this sense because it's just no strings attached. This is where I'm at now, and I'm not part of any organization. I'm not working. I'm not representing anything. I'm not doing any form of charity work or youth work or public services and relations with the public. So you have to act a certain way. I can just be me. Yeah, man. Like, literally, that's next on my list. Next on my list. So moving forward from that, obviously having to leave the Netherlands with my passport being stolen and my bank accounts being hacked, and yeah, it was just a bit of a nightmare. And I stayed for a good month and a half without a passport, and I was still going backwards and forwards across the borders. But yeah, I'd always be going on mad ones, and sometimes if you get stopped by the old bill and you haven't got a passport, especially if you're in a foreign country, they straight away think like terrorism and refugee and all of this. So it's just a case of, you know, you gotta be, yeah, originally, man, originally, but you gotta be a certain way. So after that, yeah, everything was just, yeah, fucked, and I had to leave. And then it was just a case of, no, just bear with me, just bear with me. Like, not everyone is gonna be like when you're traveling, yeah, it's like when you meet people, it's on a different vibe. So you have like the best experience you can with that person because one, they've got a short, like for example, I got a job at a party hostel, yeah, called the Flying Pig in New Dyke, which is just down from Amsterdam Central Station, if you know it. And basically I was working there for 4 months, and it was good because like everyone was just like coming and like having a good time, and it was also spring break for American kids, so a lot of those sort of people were coming over from America, and I met loads of Americans, and it was nice because it's like, I don't know, like you only see about it on TVs or movies. Like most people know their English, as I've said before, through American movies and Hollywood. So also in England as well, but mainly if you're completely from like disconnected from the English language or mainstream sort of media of like Western sort of stuff. So yeah. Anyway, moving on from that, like yeah, it was good to mix with people, but like I say, sorry, the point is the time that they're there is very short. Well, literally, the time that they're there is very short. So it's a case of you're gonna have the best time with them, like, and that's it. Like, there's not gonna be any chance to like really fall out with people because you're constantly meeting new people. And then obviously the people that you do meet, and then obviously you stay like friends with them and you hang out with them for a long period of time. Like, I don't know, you've met under such like weird circumstances that you really find a really good friend. And I always find that in your home country, sometimes you could search ages trying to find like your soulmate in quotes, or like just like a really good friend. But whether it be a male or female, like, and it's just a case of like when you're abroad, like you meet people, even if they're from your own country, like you straight away like-minded because you've left the country you're from, and also like it's just different for both of you, so you're more likely to stick together and stick to what you know, and it's just really refreshing. So that sort of encourages friendships and relationships as well, so it's a lot easier. Now, how I'm leading this up to everything else and being insular and making videos, like this is the whole process of how it's got to this point, because coming back to England, it's a case of like, well, I still wanted to continue this Amsterdam party vibe, and broke into Reading and moved to Bristol and jumped the train here actually. And yeah, it was just a bit of a nuts one. And then obviously was living in Southampton as well for a bit, and Bath, and traveling up north backwards and forwards. And it was good, like literally it was fun, but then slowly it started to dwindle out, like, and obviously like summer ended and then winter came, and then yeah, just like party time's over basically. Like it's only one sort. It's like seasonal party time is sort of seasonal in England. I mean, it never used to be like that, but now it's sort of just changed. And then obviously now modern day times with this whole fucking this scam that they're fucking putting everyone under to wear masks and saying they're gonna be infected and blah blah blah, and fucking NHS and bullshit. Like literally, it's just fucking. That's just killed the social scene even more, and it's just like, ugh. So it's just a case of before that, obviously, yeah, I have friends, and there's a lot of people that I've been surrounding myself with. But then in recent times, you said, "How's things? What's been going on?" And it's like, well, it's just been long, mate. It's just been really long because I've been surrounding myself with people, and then remembering why I don't surround myself with people, and then obviously me getting mad about the fact that I've surrounded myself with people and they fucked me over, or I haven't agreed with them on something, and just yeah, mate, it's just fucking bollocks. Literally, it's just bollocks. And obviously, I try and push forward through the bullshit, but then sometimes it's just too overwhelming, and I don't know what to do, mate. I don't know what to do. It's just one of them things. It's just one of them things. But ultimately, it's not too bad. Like it's not too bad in the grand scheme of things. But there's so many ups and downs, and I always look back, and I shouldn't. I always think, oh, this is what I've done before, and I'm always trying to top it. I'm always trying to challenge myself. Like, what's my next crazy thing that I can do? Like, and it shouldn't really be like that. It should just naturally flow. I literally should naturally flow. Because like any time that I've fucking traveled, it's always been just on a whim, like literally just with a rucksack, and that's it, like literally. And I've never booked accommodation, I've never known where I'm going, I've always just rocked up in a country and just made it work. And fortunately, I've lived to tell the tale. Obviously, I ended up going to prison, but when I was in the Netherlands, but that was minor. I literally, that was minor. I was only in prison for a month. A month is nothing compared to people. Like, I was sitting in a sweatbox, right? I was coming back from court. I know I always get pissed off when I go to court, mate. It's just never good. Like it's just never good, regardless of the outcome. And it's just a load of bollocks, really. It's just a load of bollocks. Like it's very medieval, isn't it? The court system, like it's just very medieval, and it's just old fashioned, but it just hasn't caught up to modern day life. So they still treat it as it's just like as if it matters. Whereas like out on the real world and on the streets, it's like, come on, like you can actually like just justify this in certain things. Do you know what I mean? So it's just. But otherwise, it's. I'll get to you in a moment, mate. I haven't forgotten. But otherwise, it's just yeah. But yeah, like I said, he was in the sweatbox, and I was coming back from court, and I was mad, and I was getting vexed. And obviously, it's not too good to chat to people. Like, it's not too good. It's just like you can't really. The way I am, I'm quite friendly and open. Like, if you meet me in person, like for the first time, like if you used to meet me on the street, like people that have met me from YouTube, that have seen me on the street, like they would come up to me, and I'm just quite like, do you know what I mean? I'm outgoing. I just chat to anyone, which is fine. But if you're in prison or in the jail or in custody, and then you're out on the smoking area, like you can't really just be going up to people chatting, especially in the jail, because like everyone's pending trial, everyone's just like, you don't know who's who. Like, there could be people that are planted in, if you got a massive case, there could be people that are planted in there to purposely get information out of you, and then you'll be chatting to them about your case, knowing they'll know that you're stressed out, so they'll pretend to be your friend basically, and then they'll just order someone. If even if they're not undercover, someone might just be getting a better deal to say, all right, go to this prisoner and say, look, blah blah blah, get them to confess to this, confess to that, or you might have a brief conversation with them, and they'll say, okay, yeah, they said this, and they said, well, you didn't, like literally. But on camera, you're sat there chatting, and they'll just make sure that they don't know what you're chatting about. Anyway, the point is, you've got to be very, very careful, and you do have to think about it that deep. You've got to be very careful who you talk to. Anyway, I end up chatting to this Romanian guy, yeah, in the fucking sweatbox, as we're coming back to the prison, and I was like, oh, I'm really pissed off, like da 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 da, like I don't know what to expect. This, and he was like, how long have you got? And I was like, a month. He was like, oh, you're fine, bro, you're fine. Don't worry, don't worry. Like he was laughing, like literally, he was laughing. And then like we got off, and he was like, he's got a month. He's got a month. They were like, you're fine, you're fine. Like it's just jokes. Like it was just jokes because I was all taking a piss out of me because I was getting so shook the fact that I had a month in prison. And then like when I asked around, like they just volunteered. They was like, I got 4 years, I got 6 years, I got 8 years, I got this year. I was like, fuck it now, mate. Okay, fine. I'm small fry, like literally, I'm small fry. And assault, mate, assault, like literally, yeah. But in the Netherlands, they call it mishandling. They don't call it assault. But yeah, that was a fucking strange experience, mate. It was a strange experience because I well, I was used to getting arrested. Like I used to getting arrested for just loads of different shit. Like literally loads of different shit in the Netherlands. Like in England, not so much. Like I've been arrested in England, but it's not something I'd fucking advise ever. Like just fucking, ugh, it's just so shit. Like it's just so shit. Like so shit. Like it's just ugh. Anyway, but the Netherlands, on the other hand, the justice system is just so like efficient and just like it's not fun, but it's just like nice. Like they treat you like a human being. They're polite, like they care, like they actually give a shit. Like they're actually trained well, like trained really really well. Like it's like 4 year training course to like get into like the prison service and the police. Like 4 years, like literally. Whereas in England, it's like 8 week course to be a prison officer. Like, so they're trained on like psychology and fucking counseling and fucking social work, as well as like just fucking you up if you're like tough and you're causing problems. But like, they're actually trained to deal with your fucked up issues. Because, like, bearing in mind, like, if you go into prison and you've had a shit life and all you know is crime, whereas me, I just went in because I was just fucking being an idiot. But like, if you actually that's your life, you're in and out of prison, you need like, do you know what I mean, actual rehabilitation so you can actually do good things in life, where rather than just lock someone in a cage and then fucking, do you know what I mean, torture them effectively psychologically and sometimes physically, and then release them and expect, do you know what I mean, expect a good outcome. It's just a scam, mate. It's just a scam. But anyway, the justice system over there is just a lot better, so it's just nicer. But the whole thing from start to finish was just a bit weird. Like literally, it's just a bit weird. Cause got arrested and then I was just fucking. I was in a very wild state, like a very wild state. I was in no state to be getting arrested. Put it that way, like literally. And yeah, I got into the cells, and like they blue lighted me through Amsterdam in a van, and the van had windows so I could see where we was going. And that was pretty sick. But I was kicking off because, like I said, I was in no state to be arrested, mate. And yeah, I was chilling with this girl, that I'd been spending time with for a couple of weeks. And yeah, she went off because she just had enough of me just fucking being mad, basically. And she was like, right, I'm gonna go meet you later. Just calm down. And then yeah. Anyway, I ended up fucking yeah, doing loads of mad shit. And then yeah, but the point is, I got to the custody, and they were just like proper nice. Like literally, they was just like, even though I was kicking off, they was just like, right, just take it easy. Like this is the situation. This is what's gonna happen. And I was out within like what 3 hours after all of that. Like literally, I wasn't out for long. But the situation that got me sent to prison was another time when I was just again just messed up, and then got to the jail. The whole process of everything's fine. This. But I knew it wasn't fine. This is where it got mad because I knew it wasn't fine. And then after that, like I saw my lawyer, and then there was obviously mentioned that you're going to be going to see, well, you're going to be going to Rechbank. So like I hear in Rechbank. Now Rechbank is criminal court, and if you hear those words, you know it's not good because normally you just go in front of a police judge. Now this is why the justice system in the Netherlands is good, because you have police judge and you have criminal court. So basically the police can decide your punishment, and normally that's just a fine. They can sentence you, but that will just be elevated. So normally it's just a fine. So if you have a police judge, most of the time you sit in front of the police judge, and then that's it, you're out. Like within hours you're out. Whereas this time that didn't happen. Like normally I know I'd just be like, oh, police judge is fine, da da da. So I was just sitting like chilling, thinking everything was fine, and it wasn't. And then it dawned on me that it wasn't fine because I'd been in there like 8 hours, 9 hours, and I was like, no, this is not right. This is not right. And then they can hold you for up to 3 days before they charge you. So once it trickles over, that's it. You know you're going to be there for 3 days because they're just going to hold you the maximum time. Whereas in England, it's only 24. So I was like, okay, fuck. So anyway, I had 3 days police detention, and then I got to see the police judge. And then obviously I told my side of the story, but obviously it's a judge in it, so they're obviously going to side with law enforcement, which they did. And then it got elevated to criminal court, and then from criminal court, yeah, they sentenced me for to 1 month and compensation for injury and loss and blah 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 blah, which I never paid because again, if you can't afford to pay your court costs and compensation costs, you have to pay to the victim in quotes, then the government pays it for you. And also, that if you get fined as well, the time you spend in police custody means you don't have to pay the fine. It's something like 80 euros a day you get paid to be in jail if you have a fine. So you can opt, even on the street, to just spend time in jail and that pays off your fine rather than paying the fine. But it's a process. You wouldn't just automatically go to jail. It's just if you didn't pay the fine, then they'll just say, right, you either pay the fine or you spend like a day in jail or whatever. But yeah, this whole time I was just on a massive come down, and it was just yeah, it's just not good. Like literally, it's just not good. So yeah, I went to the fucking I got transferred yeah to three different police stations, like jailhouses basically they call it, the jailhouse, and it's just like basically a massive building, just a massive building, just like a police station basically with cells. And I was just watching TV in the cell because you have cell in police custody, TV in police custody as well. It's like a TV that's built into the wall, and then obviously you just got fucking controls on the wall that you just push a button, like you don't have a remote obviously. And then yeah, but then when I was in this place, like I was just like it was just shit, like literally. So police custody is just well, it just wasn't fun. And like I said, I was gonna come down, and it's just like I just didn't know where I was. And then they said, oh, you're not gonna be transferred. Like there's no one to deal with your case because it's only from working hours, which is nine in the it's 8 in the morning till 9 o'clock at night. So between those times, between 9 o'clock at night and 8 in the morning, your custody time doesn't count. Like so that's not counted as time in custody. So it can overlap more than what it is because it's not working hours. Like your custody time is only counted in working hours because that's when they can deal with your case. So I was like, okay, fine. Anyway, obviously I was like not sleeping very well at the time anyway. So I was just like awake, and then I finally got to sleep, and they woke me up at like 1:30, 1:45 in the morning. It was like, oh, you're being transferred, and I was just like so spun out, and then I started tripping out, thinking I was gonna like kill me and shit. And yeah, that was just another fucking weird experience. But yeah, anyway, they fucking transferred me, which is just strange because, like I said, they said, oh, no one's going to be picking you up till morning, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, okay, fine. I'll have a couple cigarettes, then fucking eat food, fucking black box, just fucking shit microwave meal, basically. And then fucking, yeah, go. But yeah, they transferred me middle of the night. Fucking got to this new place, whole process again, change of clothes, search, strip search, fucking metal detectors, scanners, x-ray machines, all the fucking rest of it. And then fucking after that, fucking went to court and then obviously got fucking the court date and then got sent to the fucking jail, but it's prison, it's all the same place. But like when you're awaiting trial, like anything longer than 3 months, you go to this place basically. So yeah, I got sent to this place as like pre-detention because they knew I was gonna go to prison, but they just didn't know like, how long for. And then yeah, so from there I went there, but it was sweet. Like literally, it was so good. Like they was friendly, everything. There was like, "Carl, what's your dietary needs? Like, do you want tobacco? Like literally everything. Like literally." And the prison pays for it all because yeah, I just didn't have any money, and I didn't know anyone in the Netherlands at the time that could send me money. So yeah, but I did go. Actually, I went on kiosk. I got 20 euros one time, like 20 30 euros, and I went on kiosk. But the shop that you order from is Spar, so the food that you order is quite nice. So it's good food. So you can just order like pasta and chicken and that, and then there's like a massive kitchen, so you cook your own food. Like it's not like mass produced. Like you cook your own food. You either have a ready meal like that comes round, so you have like fruit, ready meal, and fucking yogurt, milk, bread, cheese, butter, coffee, tea, sugar. Like there's a whole massive fucking box that comes, so you get that every 3 days. And then yeah, you have a fridge as well in your cell, microwave, ensuite, so proper toilet, shower, which is like a walk-in shower room basically. And then yeah, so it's proper nice. It's proper like the conditions are really good. Like it's completely different to fucking any other prison stories you would hear. Like literally, safe G. Shout out the Liverpool crew. But yeah, I was proper sketching out because I was thinking of like stabbings and just fucking disease and filth and just yeah, man, it was just the complete opposite. It was super clean, like hospital standards clean. And it was just like, yeah, mate, everything was just spotless. Everything worked. There was like loads and loads of staff, like so much staff. So like you could have one-on-one with staff. Like it wasn't like a thing for like staff to be talking to you and like you called them staff as well. Like it wasn't a thing for staff to be talking to you like and then people be looking at you be like, well, why was you chatting to the staff, blah blah blah. Like, no, you could just if you was feeling shit, you could just say to them, look, I'm feeling shit, and like they'll just sit down, they'll listen, like, do you want to smoke some cigarettes, like, do you know what I mean? Like, if you've got weed, maybe turn a blind eye to you smoking a joint, like, do you know what I mean? Things like that, like, they'd actually care. Like, you could call them up on the buzzer, and they would actually come. And they would stand at the door, even if it was at night time, they'd just have guards. But even if it's just to stand at the door or open your door, take you into like the conference room and chat to you, like they would do that. Like literally, they would do that. Like they wouldn't just leave you to like fucking scream in pain, basically, and cry. Like, literally, not that I was screaming in pain or crying, but like obviously it's prison, so there are people that are in that sort of situation, especially if they're coming off drugs, like hard drugs like heroin and crack and all that. So yeah, it was quite eye-opening in that sense. It was kind of like a one-off time experience, not something that you should encourage because obviously it's prison, but to see that side of life and that utopia and how it works. And sometimes people think that if you give prisoners everything and you run it actually properly rather than just like a shit tip, then do you know what I mean? It's like, oh, why are they getting good treatment? But it does work. Like it does work. Like, do you know what I mean? You get given cutlery, plates, glasses. Like, do you know what I mean? Like no one's stabbing each other, no one's pouring fucking. You got kettles in every cell. Like tea and coffee is given a standard, so you don't have to fucking hustle for it. Like, do you know what I mean? It's not worth anything. Like, if you have money, then you have money. The only thing that's worth, like, is tobacco, obviously, and weed and hash, and that was it. But literally, that was the only thing that was actually worth anything. Like, you couldn't really get anything else like that was of value in terms of food. But yeah, not something to be encouraged. But yeah, it was a good experience because you get to see a different side of life and how things work in other countries or a different country. Because I don't plan to fucking tour the world going to prison. Literally, I'm not that hardcore. I'm silly, I'm stupid, but I'm not hardcore, mate. I wouldn't want to fucking go to a foreign jail, mate. I've visited foreign jails. I've done work in a fucking prison in Ghana. I had a fucking attachment for a week with the officers over there, and that was fucking, oh mate, that was some fucking nut shit. Nuts shit. You got fucking cages, mate, just cages. And you got a rec yard, yeah, that's just dust and just an open space. And like, it looks like you can break out so easily because it's just like, I don't know, it's not like the look of a prison. It just looks like a fucking yard, basically, that's just got loads of gangsters in it and fucking criminals. But if you was to try and get out of there, mate, they'd just fucking, mate, they'd either shoot you or just beat you. But they'd probably beat you if they did. If you was getting away, then they'd shoot you. But if they could catch you, they'd catch you and then just beat you in front of everyone. So they were just as an example, not to escape, like, literally. And Kenya as well. I visited a Kenyan jail. But that was kind of under false pretenses. That was my friend, yeah. His mum got arrested and she ended up going to prison. And it was just a case of like, I don't know, the story that he told me, I don't know if it was legit or not for her to be going to prison, like, literally. Like, you can get easily busted over there, but I just don't know. So like, I helped him with like some cash in terms of like food and like clothes and like, because it's not that much, like, it's not expensive compared to the money I had at the time over there when it converts over. So the currency is very strong. So for me, just to give him 20 quid, it's like, what, 3,000 shillings. So just under. So it's like food and clothes and pay the guards, fucking look after her and things like that. But yeah, it was under false pretenses, and I was just doing it because he was my pal. But I could have been funding anything. Literally, I could have been funding anything, and I would never have known because, yeah, it's just a bit of a scam. But I didn't mind because he was my pal. Like, literally, he was my pal, Festus, and I felt kind of bad for him, mate. I felt kind of bad for him. But yeah, the conditions as well was just fucking shite. Like, literally, it was shite. So I was very fortunate to end up in prison where I did, and at the time that I did. Very, very fortunate. But I suppose it's an experience to talk about in terms of to share my stories and to learn from, but it's not something I talk about in terms of a topic of conversation because it's not good, and people get the wrong idea, and they like to pry and judge and just, I don't know. There's a lot of people that do it. Loads of YouTube channels that, you know, get their following from talking about prison, but I don't like to pretend to be something I'm not. Do you know what I mean? I don't really. Yeah, it's a topic of conversation, but I'm not gonna pretend to be some fucking big man. Do you know what I mean? It's not fucking. There's nothing big about going to prison, mate. And I tell you what, the biggest thing that I fucking thought about going to prison in terms of the punishment was that the biggest punishment was that seeing grown men cry, like, they would be really tough on the fucking yard and blah blah blah, and you know what I mean? Oh, on the outside I had this and I had that, and I was part of this gang and that gang, and I had cars, and do you know what I mean? A distribution of some this much drugs, making this much money. But then when the doors close, yeah, and it's just them in their cell, and you hear them crying because they miss their kids, that's when it fucking hits home. Because no matter what you do, yeah, like, I always think that being away from their family was the biggest punishment that you could ever give someone. Because, yeah, it's just like, that's just something, regardless of what you're into, you're always going to want to make time for your family. Like, not always, like, some people didn't have families, but the ones that did, like, in terms of that had children, young children that didn't know any better, it's not their fault, is it? Like, so for me, that was another eye-opener, because that just really hit home that you just see grown men cry for their kids, like it's their babies. Literally crying for their babies. But yeah, like I say, it's not all it's cracked up to be. And the people that like brag about prison and make all these videos, yeah, they fucking tell the story and they try and make it equal, but at the end of the day, there's a lot of bravado. And, so I mean, to make it sound better than it actually is, like, yeah, with the Netherlands jail, sure, it's fucking amazing. Like, I'll big it up till the cows come home, but that's only from a educational standpoint of that's what you can achieve if you actually run a prison properly. But to be incarcerated, no, there's no fun in it. Like, there's no joy in it. But like I say, if that's all your life has been, then obviously you have to think about it from both angles. But anyone says that they don't have problems in jail or in prison, well, literally, they're lying. Literally, they're lying. And anyone that says they don't cry or they didn't get upset or depressed or sad in prison and that they was all tough and macho, they're lying. Literally, they're lying. Because no matter who you are, like, everyone will have a down day. Literally, no matter who you are, no matter how tough you think you are, like, there's always a bigger situation that can come and just crush you in an instant. Sorry to get all deep and dark and depressive on you tonight, but this is just real life, innit, mate? It's just real life. It's just real. Like, it's not all fairies and fucking rainbows. One moment, I need to get some fucking Rizzlers. Yeah, mate, one moment. Let me just roll this spliff. Right, uni advice. Um, for uni, I'd say enjoy the opportunity to network and meet people who can benefit you in life. Like, make the most of the experience of being in university and like going out. Try not to do too much mad shit. There's a lot of uni kids in Bristol, mate. Not at the moment. I mean, slowly they're gonna start coming back, but yeah, sometimes they do mad shit and they just get involved in such sketchy stuff. So don't fall for any fucking scams, mate. Especially with drugs, literally. Just have a trusted source. And yeah, but aside from partying, sorry, I'm always thinking about partying. But in terms of sensible stuff, yeah, enjoy networking and the experience of being at university, mate. That's what I'd say, literally. And just, yeah, enjoy it. Literally, just enjoy it. I don't know. I've never been to university myself, so apart from that, unless there's specific questions, I'd just say from that standpoint is networking for me. Just because of the types of people that will be going to university and the types of people that will be passing through and talks and lecturers and different guest speakers, things like that. Exchanging numbers and getting contacts is very important for me wherever I go. It's always good to have contacts elsewhere and in different fields. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, but philosophy will be good. You'll meet a lot of interesting people, especially the speakers that they'll bring in. I'd imagine would be quite in depth for that sort of topic. It's all right. I mean, if there's anything else that you think of as you go, and the same for me. If I think about something as I go, I'll let you know. Tips and tricks. I also actually get to know the place you're in, and this is for everyone that just travels or, yeah, uni, but whatever. Get to know the place you're in. So literally, just explore your area, the towns, not just the city center. Go out on the outskirts and like mix with the actual local people. And like, I know this sounds bad, yeah, but just go to like the proper scummy areas, like the area of that place, yeah, where everyone thinks is like the worst area that you shouldn't go to. You should always go to those places. And the reason why I say that is because like you can always like I don't know, you can always work your way up from the bottom all the way to the top. Like you can find out like every inch of like because anyone can go to a fancy neighborhood with fucking trimmed hedges and fucking. Do you know what I mean? Everything's nice. Like it's always nice to go to like. Do you know what I mean? You can find real good things like. But literally, you can find the gems as you say. Like literally, you can find hidden gems just in the middle of nowhere, which you'd think, oh no, there's nothing here. Like shouldn't really bother going here. But there's people that you'll meet, and then you'll be like, raw. Like it's completely what you wouldn't have expected. Like I found that when I was traveling in Kenya, I went to Kibera. And a brief moment, I did want to live in Kibera. Now Kibera is a slum. It's the second largest slum in Africa. 3.4 square miles, an estimation of 1.2 million people. So it's a very big place. But yeah, I did want to live there. And everyone's like, no, you can't move to a slum. Everyone wants to leave the slum. Why would you move to a slum? Like, you can't. Like, you can't. Like, it'll be too dangerous. Da 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 da. And then, as you know, as the story I told last time, there was a massive eviction and then massive gunfire broke out. So it's a good job I didn't go there. But it's a case of, like, in places, like, people, like, looked down on as such, and people that are suppressed as a society in terms of like lower class, they're the people that are actually like I don't know, like kind of like genuine sometimes as such, but also have really good knowledge. But because of their situation, they've never managed to push themselves and elevate themselves onto a platform that would allow them to share that knowledge they have. So to look at them on site or to go to where they live, you'd be like, raw. But then once you actually get to know them, like none of that matters. Like, do you know what I mean? You make do purely because the gems that you have, as you say, to use your word, the gems that you have, like, are second to none and invaluable. So, yeah, always go to the worst areas, I say. But I say that in quotes just as a loose term so you get what I mean. But yeah, don't be afraid to travel out of your comfort zone, basically, is probably the diplomatic way to put it. Yeah, yeah, it does. It does. Yeah, I've always found that with travel. In my travels, I've always gone rucksack, and that's it, as I've said. And it's always been ad hoc. It's always been ad hoc, but I've enjoyed it. Literally, I enjoyed it along the way. But then there was hard times, and I'd be like, "Oh, I fucking hated it." Blah blah blah. But then I didn't hate it at all. It's just the fact of there's natural ups and downs. Like there's natural ups and downs. So for me, it didn't really matter. Like, do you know what I mean? Hmm. I do feel to push myself in terms of being out there and well, just when I say being out there, I mean travel wise. Everything is about travel with me at the moment. But in fact, just in general, because to just stay in one place and just that's it. I don't know. I just find that a bit like ugh. I don't know. Prefer to be on the move really. But Yeah, it's a case of purposely putting myself in a situation which is hard. Basically, that's what it is. That's what it is. Because, and I only think of it that way, and it's not. I only think of it that way because we're conditioned to feel comfort, to be warm, to be clothed. I mean, to have food all the time, eat to excess, buy to excess, like just mass consumption of just everything when it's not needed at all. Like it's not needed at all. Like you can have one meal in a day and you're not gonna die. Like yeah, you're gonna be hungry. You'll be like, oh shit, I've only eaten one thing today, but it's not the end of the world. Whereas sometimes I look at that sort of life, when I have that life, and I'm like, oh, I hate it. Why am I doing this? Blah blah. But at the same time, it's just natural. Do you know what I mean? You're gonna get hungry. You're gonna be sad. You're gonna be happy. You're gonna be angry. Do you know what I mean? There's hurdles that you're gonna have to come across. Like you're gonna have to get over even. And it's just yeah, that's just life. Like it's up and it's down. It's up and it's down. It's like a moving pattern. Like I always think of it as like a hospital monitor because obviously if it's up and down, up and down, up and down, you're alive, isn't it? But if it's just straight, just nothing changes, like you're dead. Like it's a flat line. So that's how I look at life. Really, it's just a bit. It's like that, but we're being conditioned to just be a flat line when really we should be up and down and up and down. We shouldn't just be a one sort of we go here, we go here, we do this, we do that. Do you know what I mean? Very rigid and structured and just. Do you know what I mean? Human beings need organization. Like that's not a thing. Like that's just how it is. Like, as a species, we need to be organized. We need to control. One group would want to control another group and dominate and control another group and prey on the weak and protect the weak. And that's just how we're programmed. But at the same time, that human natural programming through nature is being man-made and then pushed onto human beings. So our natural instincts are disappearing for a false instinct, basically. And that's all in a bubble via technology to support comfort, literally. So basically, your whole life is in an incubator, pretty much. Just in a box, just fucking getting everything you need, but you're in a box. You're not actually doing anything. Oh, we're out of gas. Let's see if we can make it work. Take off the cover. Let's see. Here we go. Done that on no gas, mate. Yes, I would. I would. I'd really enjoy that, and that's something I've looked into because I've um, I've been renting vans. I've been renting vans, and as and when, and I don't normally drive. Like I don't actually. I do enjoy it, but I just yeah, I just don't like other people on the road. It just pisses me off, and I just get mad and fucking stopping on a hill and like traffic lights, and especially if I'm in a manual and fucking managing the gears, it's just like I just prefer to just go straight, like rather than just fucking. Anyway, sorry. So that's why I don't drive. But yeah, it's a case of I would love to do that. I literally that would be my key sort of because then you can just operate from anywhere, literally anywhere at all. And although it may be it's alternative living. Of course, it's alternative living, but it's more for me and my style. Like literally, I don't need no fancy this, fancy. Don't get me wrong. I've stayed in compounds and nice houses and villas and places like this, but it's a case of like I don't need this. I don't need that. Do you know what I mean? I don't think on my head like I need somewhere to stay. Like I'm thinking of some mansion. No, I just need like little fucking. Do you know what I mean? I got tents. I got somewhere to stay. I fucking got a house right here that I can stay in. But it's just like on the bigger picture of just me on my own. Yeah, van is something that's feasible, and it's structured so that protects you from obvious the rain and things like that, and your stuff getting wet and then having to dry it out. Like obviously that you do need to be sensible about it. I'm not just an idiot. Like I don't just fucking suffer. Just like stand out in the rain if I know I can be dry. But yeah, at some point that light is gonna go. But for now, it's serving me well. Like literally, it's serving me well. My headache's going. Literally, this water's really helping, and the weed. Like literally. Also, crazy lift. If you're still in the chat, I remember I was supposed to respond to you, and then I fucking just went off on one and forgot. But I did want to go there. Like, literally, I did want to go there. Like, I want to go to all those sort of places, like, literally. Because I just never hear about them. Like, literally, I never hear about them. And, like, obviously, the weed situation you've mentioned. And obviously, like, yeah, it's dry. But then it's the same with Kenya, mate. It was the same with Kenya. Like, it weren't fucking great. Obviously, until I went to Mombasa, if you remember. Shashamani. Just for your own little fucking travel log. But yeah, I don't know. It's just part of the novelty in it. Like just fucking, I don't know. Okay, fine. Yeah, I get it. Some things you don't need to experience, but I don't know. I just like to try it anyway. You just got to try it. Like it's dry weed. It's just dry weed, isn't it? Like I don't know. Mental spliff. Um. Well, most of the time I smoke spliffs, but joints are good. I only smoked joints when I was in the Netherlands. Really, that's when I first sort of really started, really heard about it. Like, because it's just forced on you. Because you can't smoke tobacco anywhere in the coffee shop, and it's just like taboo in general. Just mixing. Like, it's not like that bad. Like, I'm not gonna fucking like legally, yeah, in the coffee shop you can't have your tobacco on the table, but in public smoking, like mixing with joints, just like socially, like oh, why would you mix? Like, but otherwise, yeah, I don't know. It's like 50-50 for me. I always find recently vaporizer is the way that I would smoke weed in terms of smoking it on its own, but otherwise, yeah, spliff if I'm smoking a zoo, yeah. Because I don't know, I just gotten used to the tobacco, I guess. I've just gotten used to it. And obviously, when I started smoking, yeah, when I first started smoking, I never knew anything about weed or anything. I fucking hate weed. In fact, like I was really anti-weed and like, oh mate, if you know how much weed I've confiscated and thrown away, it'd drive you mad. But yeah, I just didn't like weed. But then when I did start smoking weed, I was taught just to smoke it with tobacco, and that's how you should smoke weed. I didn't really find out much about. I'd hear about blunts and this, but I didn't really know what it meant. And then yeah, when I went to the Netherlands, like properly, because even then I was still, as you know, been smoking on my own, just in my shed, and I just get wherever I can and just make it up as I go, really. But and then trying everything, like all the different grinder selection, Rizzler selections, like it's all there documented, as you know. But and you can go through that and listen to what I've said at the time. But yeah, it's just a case of now I know I still don't smoke weed on its own because I find it very strong and harsh. But like I say, through the vaporizer, it's completely different. Like it's just like a different high as well. And I've tried that in recent times, but I've also in the Netherlands as well. And obviously smoking blunts and people coming over from California, as I said, that was on spring break, and they're just used to smoking Cali weed, like genuine Cali weed, and in a blunt. Like they don't smoke it with tobacco. It's an English and like European sort of thing. Like they don't really smoke, yeah, tobacco that much. If they do, they smoke cigarettes. But yeah, so for me, I'm still learning. Like, I'm still learning, and although I know the benefits and I can, in the right setting, and smoking wise, I can easily smoke it weed on its own, and I don't need to wait till I have tobacco to roll a joint. I don't know. I'm still having to get my mind over that because obviously I've been taught a certain way, and I've been taught poorly. Basically, I've been taught poorly when it comes to weed. Like literally, I'm very far behind in my stoner knowledge, and I started smoking very late in life as well. I was like 20, 22 when I started smoking. So, motherfucker, I'm gonna break this flint off in a minute. No, it's done. I had a tiny little flame, but I fucked it up. One moment, I need to get a lighter. Lots of stars tonight. It's very nice. Very, very nice. Yeah, I'm gonna be not scheduling streams, but streaming time will be between sort of 10 o'clock onwards, basically between 10 and 2. So if you're awake at 2 in the morning, then there could be a stream. Yeah, streaming times will be between 10 and 2, and I'll probably update that somewhere. But yeah, don't hold me to that. But I'm just saying. Otherwise, like I said before, I've made some clips. But I'll put them all together when I'm ready. Because it's my GoPro, so I've got some time lapses in there as well. They look pretty good actually. So there will be an edited video at some point, but otherwise, this is it. Plus, I don't feel to make videos always where streaming I can just pause. In real time. But yeah. Sometimes I feel a bit like, oh God, but I don't really care, mate. Like, I do, but not in that sense. About being real and just explaining the situation at hand rather than just. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm naturally just. Every day is a new day, mate, and just see how it goes, mate. I just. Whatever. But some days when it's like low and I'm just overthinking or just thinking of times gone by, I just don't bother record. And maybe sometimes it'll be interesting for other people to hear. Maybe sometimes it's not. But at the same time, it's real. And that works against me sometimes, and it works for me. But then I don't care, which is what I meant by I don't care. But yeah. But I feel it's always good to see both sides of the coin. Not just when filming when life is good or I'm doing something crazy or just had a good experience somewhere. To film in quiet times when it's just dead. Like dead. It's not dead at all, mate. But compared to, then yeah. I wish it was fucking dead at the moment, but yes, man. Feeling pretty stoned, mate. Like buzzy stoned. But that's only because I ain't smoked all day and I've been awake all day. So I'm just chain smoking now because I ain't smoked all day. And I picked up weed late, so yeah. Oh well. I have tomorrow as well then. Fucking moths, mate. One thing I don't miss though is sitting outside somewhere and fucking mosquitoes, like literally. Mosquitoes are not the one. Spliff is finished. Might roll another. Make some food. Have a shower maybe. If I will have a shower, because it made me feel better. I find the shower's always good. It's always good to freshen up, mate. Yeah. Anyway, I think that's all for now. and I'll be in touch at some point. Actually, at some point. I've got jitters about life, actually. Anyway, safe for tuning in. And I may be back. I may be not. Most probably not, but I don't know. But yeah, stay blessed. Stay lean and peace.